Tom Jensen is the Director of Public Policy Polling, and thank you for being on the show, sir.
Good to be with you.
Well, I look at these statewide races, that's the focus of this show, and tight. Josh Stein has a 1-point lead, everyone else is tied. How can that be?
We really are about the most divided state in the country now politically. It's a situation where all of our key races the last 10 years or so have generally been decided by 1 or 2 points, and it looks like this year is going to go right down to that. You have about 45% of voters who are always going to vote for the Democrat, about 45% who are always going to vote for the Republican, and over the next 6 months, all this fight for a very small swath of the electorate.
Well, that small swath is there. People seem to think HB2 could affect the state ballot. Would it affect the state ballot more than Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton being at the top of the tickets, respectively?
I think the presidential race is probably going to be the biggest determiner of what happens in the governor's race. You're just not going to see that much difference between how people vote in those different races. So as long as the presidential race stays close, the governor's race is going to stay close. HB2 certainly is unpopular, but we've been polling this race for 2 years now. Neither candidate's ever been ahead by more than 3 points. So I think there's really nothing that's going to turn this governor's race into anything other than a down-the-middle toss-up.
Looking at polling in gubernatorial races, even legislative races, they're tied. Some side would say, well, HB2 is bringing down the incumbent's advantage. But if people are so angry about HB2, wouldn't Roy Cooper be well ahead of McCrory at this point as an agent of change for the state? How do you interpret that?
I think it's a situation where HB2 is really unpopular, but it's not a big enough issue that it's going to really swing the governor's race one way or the other. We've just seen this situation where they're just so closely matched that nothing that's happened over the last couple of years has really flipped that in a big way, one way or another. I do think that HB2 in particular legislative districts is going to cause some Republican incumbents difficulties in suburban Wake County, suburban Mecklenburg County, that kind of thing, but I think it has less of an impact on the governor's race.
What issues heading in to Election Day are going to be big in North Carolina? HB2 is big for now. Do you ever get away from security, schools, and the economy?
No, those are pretty much always the biggest things. And, you know, one thing that's really, I think, going to be the biggest thing in the election isn't necessarily the specific issues, but just the general broad theme. Has North Carolina gotten better over the last 4 years or not? And if you think it has gotten better, is that because of Pat McCrory or is it because of Barack Obama? Who are you giving the credit to? That sort of thing. So it's going to be, I think, a big referendum basically on where we've come over the last few years.
Can you look at polls today and they tell you anything about what's going to happen in the fall, or is it going to be a slugfest, a 12-round battle up and down the ballot, and we'll go to the scorecards on election night?
I definitely think that we could be talking the Monday night before the election right here and we wouldn't know who's going to win the governor's race. I really think it's going to be that kind of contest. And you usually have a pretty good general idea this far out how it's going to turn out. In 2012, we knew that Pat McCrory had a substantial advantage at this point, and it held that way. And sort of similar situation this year. It's very close, and I think that'll stay.
For the average poll, you see, certain states, Trump may be up 2-3 points, or the governor may be up 2-3 points in North Carolina, or Roy Cooper is. At what point do you start saying there is a distinct advantage that yeah, okay, this person has the lead?
You have to have somebody up by 5 points or more to really say that anybody has the advantage one way or the other. We have never, in 2 years of polling Roy Cooper against McCrory, had either of them up by more than 5 points. So this has been a toss-up from day one, and I think it's going to stay that way to the end.
Will it take money to push that needle 5% either way?
I think we're going to certainly see the same sort of level of ads that we did in 2014 in the Senate race. This is the premier governor's race in the country. Tens of millions are going to come in on both sides, but I think it ultimately won't make that big of a difference because it's such a tight race.
Tom Jensen, Public Policy Polling. Look him up. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Kelly.